Hi, I'm Darren Henson, and I lead ministry formation at the Catholic Health Association. One day, I was reading an article in the Harvard Business Review with the words, "hungry for meaning." The author described how people experience life and work today and discover a hunger for meaning. Ultimately, the author was getting at the human quest for purpose and the deep link between finding meaning in our lives and purpose. A rich example of meaning and purpose is a story from the scriptural tradition, often referred to as the road to Emmaus. As we shall see, it's easy to be lured into this compelling story that encourages reflection on our own journey of life. The story opens with two people walking away from the city center, and it's evident they're feeling dejected, confused, and grief-stricken. Then a stranger joins them and asks them what they're discussing, seemingly with a tone of dismissal. The two reply to him, questioning, had he not heard what had happened? Their beloved friend and leader had been tortured and brutally murdered. Their community had been scattered and shattered. Effectively, they had lost their sense of meaning and purpose. Let us now listen to the scripture itself. As you do, I invite you to listen in a particular way, as there's so many distractions facing us today and demands on our attention. So first, to ground ourselves and to take in this sacred text, perhaps consider a mental image from the wisdom of a 5th century monk, Saint Benedict. He encouraged a practice of listening with the ear of the heart. Let these words find resonance in the depths of our hearts.
Now on that same day, two of them were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem, and talking with each other about all these things that had happened. While they were talking and discussing, Jesus himself came near and went with them, but their eyes were kept from recognizing him. And he said to them, "What are you discussing with each other while you walk along?" They stood still, looking sad. Then one of them, whose name was Cleopas, answered him, "Are you the only stranger in Jerusalem who does not know the things that had taken place there in these days?" He asked them, "What things?" When he was at the table with them, he took bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. They said to each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was talking to us on the road, while he was opening the scriptures to us?" That same hour they got up and returned to Jerusalem, and they found the 11 and their companions gathered together. They were saying, "The Lord has risen indeed, and he has appeared to Simon." Then they told what had happened on the road, and how he had made known to them in the breaking of the bread.
Let's consider some of what we've heard. There's a movement from fear, confusion, and agitation that provokes a journey that really is a flight. And then it arrives at an awakening of the heart by the intriguing words of a stranger. That leads to the startling realization that the person is the risen Christ present to them. The presence of the risen one causes a burning in their hearts that then motivates them to turn around and change course, to return to the city and reunite with their friends and community. This story can be a symbolic metaphor for each of us and where we might find ourselves on our personal and professional journeys. there are periods of disappointment and confusion, just like what the disciples experienced. Like them, we have moments or periods of time when we might feel bewildered and wonder, what has happened? We can get lost in the confusion of hearsay and the hype of headlines, and it can take a great mental and intellectual energy to carefully determine and discern what is true. Yet, like the disciples, we can awaken to a grace that opens us up to help us recall that on our journeys, we have always been accompanied. When the disciples intentionally brought themselves to the present experience and realized there was something extraordinary in their presence, they were able to sit and settle down with the stranger and even joined him at table. There, he broke bread, blessed it, and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened, and they recognized him, and he departed. Those two disciples said to one another, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he was talking with us on the road and opening the scriptures?" That same hour they got up and they returned to the city, Jerusalem. The story of the road to Emmaus stands as a paradigmatic image of the formational process. The oftentimes confused information that we have to deal with in our heads, the gradual and even dramatic change that can take place when we see and allow the Spirit into our lives, our hearts. This then can become a transformational process whereby we become like a burning flame seeking to make our lives of service and to be living reflections of love in the world and for others. Our minds, our hands, our feet, information, formation, transformation. This restoration and connection between meaning and purpose is a key theme of the scriptural text and urges us to be formed and transformed by the burning of our heart.